They are the people that this report deals with, but not just those people. There are people with terminal conditions, but there are also people who simply do not want to go on living. It is not just the terminally ill.
For what reason? For what reason?
For whatever reason is cogent to them. The point is that we should not tyrannize over other people and preempt their values and their choices for their own destiny. Who is anybody else to say?
I think what's very
sad
about Wynne and Reg's case is that Reg's choice to go to Dignitas was motivated by fears about his dignity, fears about his method of dying, how he was going to spend the last days or hours of life, and also a lack of adequate care at home. So to support these exceptional cases, we need to change the law. The question is, could we change the law safely? And I think the answer is no, we can't. The safeguards aren't robust enough. If we legislated for euthanasia and assisted suicide, we would essentially be normalising it in society.
Okay, Sam,
the normal society we want is one where people receive compassionate care and dignity in care.
Well, Sam's on the commission.
It's not euthanasia, it's voluntary euthanasia, which is completely
voluntary,
different.
yeah.
It's when the person is asking for help to die.
Sam changed his mind on this.
Can I just clarify one point?
Safeguards. We need to speak to you about safeguards.
Can I just come back to the point which was made a couple of times now about euthanasia and a change in the law to allow someone to kill somebody else? That's not on the agenda. The whole thrust of the Commission's report, which is released this week, is not about euthanasia. We said that right at the beginning when we sat down a year ago. It's about assisted suicide. It's about allowing people to do something which is already legal.
Sam, we're already hearing people say it's not going far enough. The report has
had John say that,
but it's not going far enough. The safeguards are so woolly. If you read the report, the safeguards are so woolly.
Let's talk about safeguards. And with respect, you talked about safeguards for disabled. We've got the best safeguard in the report. The disabled are not even eligible. We've said that being disabled does not make you eligible for the kind of assisted suicide.
You are an expert, Sam. I think this is an important point, because you're an expert in palliative care, and you've changed your mind on this. Have you given up on any potential advances in palliative care? Have you given up on the fact that, yes, there is that awful phrase, that postcode lottery? Have you just put up the white flag and said, OK, people can kill each other?
No, Nicky. I think many people might see changing your mind as a sign of weakness. I see it as a sign of growth and responding to experience, and mostly responding to evidence, which is what we as doctors do. I've spent the last year with the Commission, and we've received 1,200 pieces of evidence. We've interviewed 40-odd people. We've gone to several countries. I spent a week in Oregon, not just reading about it, but talking to people, talking to the judge that brought in the law, talking to doctors and nurses who actually help patients achieve their own death.
Sam, let's look at the evidence.
I've spoken to patients who've actually got the prescription. I spend a lot of time in the Netherlands in the last few years. I do research
Sam,
there.
Let's look at the evidence.
I actually have met the doctors who are involved with assisted dying.
Started fourfold, and the evidence says, if you look in the BMJ paper that examined this, 1 in 6 of those patients, looking back, were significantly clinically depressed, and they weren't diagnosed. So if they were making a choice, they were making a choice that wasn't automatic.
John,
you can't go back on. Once you're dead, you're dead.
In respect, it is a mistake to think that this is about adequate care, adequate palliation of pain and suffering. This is about respecting people's choices for themselves. You don't have to qualify. You don't have to qualify by being terminally ill or being in excruciating agony. You qualify because you're a person with choices to make about your own life.
You're misleading us, and the report is misleading, because Sam says the report takes account of people's needs. It doesn't. The report is pathetic on disability.
Yes.
I've read the report.
Yes.
It is pathetic.
Yes.
And what I want to know from those who support this policy is, what can you do to give you the right to die, which doesn't put on me a burden and a duty to die? This is the issue, because unless we support disabled people, we know already, and the report says that doctors should choose.
And what can you say to me that doesn't put upon me a burden to live? And why is your burden to die so much more important than those who think that life is a burden?
Well, hang on, let's explore this. Say that again. You were just...
There's no...
Over again.
Look, Nobody's putting on you a burden to die, but,
Oh, yes, they are.
but people are putting on many of us a burden to live when we don't want to. This is a street which we have to walk both sides of, and it's not just about disabilities. Disabilities are not the only issue
What
of
about
vulnerability.
coercion, John?
Or
What about coercion?
any choice we make.
What about coercion?
What
What about vulnerable people being coerced?
You ask
We
them-
live in tough financial times.
ask
Now,
them-
not all relatives are loving. Some relatives may have financial benefits.
Nobody. There are many ways of coping with that.
Okay, Sam, come back on that. I want to hear from the audience. I know there's some hands up, and I'll come to you in just a
Can I
second.
come back and
Go on,
coercion?
you went to see